Today you join me on the 890 ferry route in Norway, and you're about to witness the quickest passenger ferry stop I've ever seen. Seriously, it's crazy how quickly they're able to load and unload the passengers, and soon we'll see why. Before that though, some context. We were riding from Vestland on Sognefjord to Bergen on Norway's western side, an area appropriately named Vestland. I've chosen to present this stop in a single take because I think it really benefits from being shown in real time. We'll be coming into the Vardetangen stop in a few minutes, and as we arrive, let's talk about this ferry system. The 890 ferry is managed by Skis, the government-owned public transit authority who provides transit service in the county of Vestland. Skis provides service and network planning and contracts operations of the various transit modes to private companies. On my trip, I rode multiple modes of Skis transit, and it's very impressive to me that the service is of such high quality given this arrangement. I would think that having a private operator would lead to declines in quality, as a private operator might seek to cut costs to increase profits, but I didn't experience any suboptimal quality during my time on board. Could something like this work in the USA? Interesting food for thought. The boat we're on today is operated by Norway, a private company jointly owned by Capman Infra and CBRE Caledon Capital Management. So, how is Norway as an operator? Once I had my tickets booked and was on board, my experience as a passenger was very good. Our boat was clean, our ride was comfortable, and the scenery was astonishing. One criticism I do have of this ferry is about the website. I found it a bit more challenging than it should have been to locate some key information about the ferry as an international traveler. One particular friction point for me was that the website directs users into these experience packages, making the whole thing feel a little more like a tourist cruise rather than transportation. Also, I found it a little disorienting that there wasn't a transit network system map anywhere on the Norway website, especially given that the booking is done through Norway. I eventually found the system map on the Skis website, but it wasn't very close to the landing page. I think that a first-time user of a transit system can be greatly helped by viewing a system diagram to get their bearings, so I think placing a system map or diagram closer to the booking page might improve the customer experience. Now for the main event, the docking. I was surprised to see that the ferry is able to just pull right up to the edge of the pier and deploy the ramp without tying the vessel down at all. No one got off the boat, which did save us some time, and the passengers boarded quickly and without fuss. By the time I'm done explaining this, the boarding procedure is already complete, and we can see that this stop took just 22 seconds. 22 seconds! The rapidness of this stop is mind-blowing to me. Back home in the USA, all ferries I've seen are tied down as part of any passenger stop. I think this difference in docking procedures exemplifies a difference in American and Norwegian culture. America is a place where the threat of lawsuits and the financial ruin they can bring creates an environment where every entity has to constantly be watching their back lest they mess something up and be sued instantly by the forces which seem to always be watching. As a nation governed by a common law system, America has a type of civil wrong called tort, which, at a high level, allows an entity who suffers loss or harm to seek damages from another entity they can blame for their losses or harm. The curt and glib reading of tort law is that you can use the law to make someone else pay for your bad judgment. Nordic law, a subset of civil law, does not have the same broad tort law abilities as the USA, meaning that it's much harder to sue for damages. I also got the sense that the Norwegian people don't seem to be itching for any reason to sue each other in the way that Americans tend to. Interestingly, the hyper-awareness of lawsuit risk is something that only companies seem to really be concerned about. Compare that to the everyday American, who generally is just not that situationally aware. I noticed that Norwegians tended to have a much better sense of personal awareness in common spaces than Americans tend to. I just can't picture Americans getting on a boat so easily. Like, I don't know, something about it, we would just not... something would go wrong, somebody would have something to say, or there would just be some sort of an issue. I just don't think that we could do it. Perhaps we Americans owe our lack of situational awareness to our lack of third spaces, common public areas outside of work or school and our homes, or perhaps our culture of individualism, which I think is a politically correct way to say a culture of selfishness, is really to blame, but I digress. Whatever the reason, there seems to be a whole lot more common sense in Norway than in the USA, and maybe that also helps such a quick ferry stop be possible. If you don't move through the world like it's your first day on Earth, Maybe that makes it easier to board a ferry that's not tied to the dock, and we can all be on our way just a little bit faster. This video was more op-ed heavy than my previous videos. If you're new to the channel, thank you so much for giving this video a chance. If you're a regular viewer, that means so much to me that you choose to tune in. Thank you. And no matter who you are, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the topics discussed. Thank you so much for watching.